Welcome, warriors. Welcome, Israel partners, Abraham friends, House of Destiny. Just welcome. For those of you who are seeing me here on the first time, my name is Doobie Sabo. I live in Israel, in Jerusalem, and I'm the correspondent and boots on the ground for the House of Destiny ministry, the Clement Center. And today I would like to just welcome you to Jerusalem, say Shabbat Shalom, and give you an update about what's happening in Israel right now, on the ground and in the heavenly, in the spirit as well. I call this update today, the war on the ground, Israel today, the war on the ground as spiritual warfare, because that's what we're experiencing here recently in Israel. Talking first and foremost about what's happening in terms of the Israeli government, the elections. We just had the fourth round of elections here in Israel, and unfortunately, we don't yet have a functioning government in Israel. We hear about multiple different parties that are trying to form a coalition, but it's just not happening. Bibi Netanyahu, who's our prime minister for the last 12 years, is also not able to form a coalition right now. And I can see that throughout this entire time, since the first round of elections, that we weren't able to establish a government and a functioning coalition, the enemies of Israel are challenging us because of that. It grew bigger and stronger on the second round and on the third round, when the enemies of Israel started to see that there is a lack of unity, that we're not able to get into agreements, we're not able to form a functioning coalition. And the enemy, the devil, is infiltrating into this situation, inciting the enemies of Israel from around. You can see that around the borders of Israel, Iran, with its proxies, are getting closer and closer. Just yesterday, there was an unprecedented situation in Iraq, where Iranian supporter was arrested by the government of Iraq, and within minutes, militias that are supported by Iran, dozens and thousands of people came surrounding the palace of the president, surrounding the jail, demanding for this guy, for this criminal, to be sent loose. And they were able to do that because literally the government of Iraq just surrendered, and they released this man. And it tells you the influence and the strength that the Iranians are coming forth right now, while at the same time, this administration in the US is sitting together with them, trying to bring back the bad nuclear deal in Vienna. During this very time, Iran, through its proxies, through the Hezbollah, through Hamas in the southern parts of Israel, Syria, is challenging Israel, is waging war around our borders, is challenging the entire Middle East right now. And I'm telling you, I call it a spiritual warfare because I feel and I sense that this war is the war that we were learning and studying about in the prophecies of old, this Armageddon, this Gog and Magog, this war of the end times, where the same nations that we were reading about, Turkey, who's intimidating and threatening Israel and inspiring the international community to go against Israel, Iran, mentioned by its name, Russia, that right now it has its troops in Syria, and the Russian Air Force literally have their largest bombers in Syria right now, the big Sukhois. Those nations that are mentioned in the end times prophecies are literally gathering around the borders of Israel. That the most important thing that we need now is unity amongst us Israelis, but also with you, the lovers, the supporters, the people of God, the believers who trust the Lord God, who believes in this incredible times of unity, to stand together with us in prayer and support our goals here in the land and face the enemies of Israel. Throughout this nation, we need people, intercessors, to pray together with us, strong people like you guys, those who follows us, those who sow their seeds into the land of Israel constantly through the House of Destiny, through the Abraham Friends and the Israel Partnership. You are the ones who are standing with us. We just faced these terrible challenges of the COVID-19 throughout Israel, where people didn't work, the economy was crippled. And then just 3 weeks ago, we were facing these crazy challenges of a war with Gaza. From the Gaza Strip into Israel, over 4,400 rockets were launched from center of civilians into centers of civilians within Israel. Many of these rockets were, thank God, intercepted by our amazing technology of the Iron Dome, but over 700 of them actually launched from Gaza and landed within Gaza Strip, killing their own citizens right there, which is very unfortunate to have people, civilians, innocent people, not involved, being killed just because of the craziness and the hatred of their people. Throughout the world right now, Israel is facing terrible anti-Semitism, Jewish people being attacked in the streets of Los Angeles, in the streets of New York, in the streets of London. People are running with their cars, driving through the streets of London, chanting death for the Jews, rape the women and children, their daughters. Can you imagine what's happening right now? The devil is inciting, igniting, setting up fire inside all those haters of Israel, just like the prophecies we learned about, that all the bad world and the enemies are going to come against us, besides the people of God and the believers who stands together with us. You guys that stand together with us, we are going to win this war. We are going to win the spiritual war. We are going to prevail. We are going to kick the devil's butt. We are going to go into that promise of God. Yes, He said, when the time will come, I'll bring my people back from 4 corners of the earth that will inherit the land forever. And then when this war, with this last war would occur, the Lord God of Israel is going to fight it for us through our prayers, through our strength, through our beliefs in Him. Trust in Him. That's all we need to do. Trust in the Lord God of Israel. I know that the enemies are seeing all the little cracks that we have here, politically, economically, all the troubles that we are facing right now. They are troubles from the outside. If we are going to be strong and determined from the inside, we are going to win this war and prevail. And that's why we need you here. We need you to stand together with us, not only in the spirit and in prayer, but also physically. Sow your seeds into Israel right now. As we finish this war in Gaza, civilians were killed and hit here in Israel. Homes were destroyed. Streets roads were pierced. We need you to stand together with us and help us. We need people like you that through the years provided bomb shelters to Israel. We just seen right now in the last conflict how many people in the southern parts of Israel didn't have a bomb shelter, didn't have a safe room to run into. We need you to help us. We need you to keep on standing with us, just like you stood at the times of Kim, when we were going together with you, helping to re-equip the Israeli army, the special ops units, the one that wage war against our enemies. You stood together with us and you did it together with us. So that's what we are doing here. We're intercessing in prayer. We're standing united, and we are supporting, yes, even financially, supporting Israel through this incredible ministry that is determined and pledged to keep on helping this country here in Israel, to build it and to restore it. I want you to know another thing. The fact that I'm able now to stand here in Israel, on this ground, on this soil, and to feel through this screen on the other side your hearts, your love, your presence together with us, strengthen us so much here in Israel, gives us the power to know that we are not standing alone. Just yesterday, there was a terrible resolution coming forth in the international arena of the United Nations. They condemned Israel. They called for an investigation about Israel committing war crimes in Gaza. Can you imagine this? Even the representative of UNRWA, the United Nations representative, of UNRWA in the Gaza Strip spoke in his own voice and said, look how the Israelis are so surgical with their attacks, doing their best not to hit any civilian targets as much as they can. And while the enemies are attacking from centers of civilians, and the war wants to call the world, people, 24 nations against 9 were voting for investigation about Israel. This is the anti-Semitism in the happening. This is the Fourth Reich that Kim was literally prophesying about. Groups and just militias, I would call them, in France, in Germany, in England, in the US, are coming charging on Israelis, on Jewish people. Here in Israel, we had a war within Israel with the local Israeli citizens, burning synagogues, throwing Molotov cocktails into Israeli homes. Without your support, your prayers, our prayers, and the Lord God of Israel, we cannot prevail. Wars from the inside, war from the outside. The only thing that we need is that unity right now. And with that, we're going to take every enemy down. I want you to know another thing. As I'm talking to you right now, while in Gaza, the Hamas, their leader, Sinwar, was calling for a military parade to celebrate their victory over us. You see how they cheat and lie to their people, celebrating their victory, saying that the best way to die is as a shaheed, as a martyr, encouraging young kids, children. You look online, you see holding a baby with a gun in his head, a young boy with a gun in his hand. That's what they're trying to reach. War. We are seeking peace. We are praying for peace. We are looking for peace. We're looking to restore Israel, to help and restore Gaza. There's so many innocent people there held hostage by their terrible regime right there, by their own so-called leadership. We're praying for them. We are praying for our enemies. Yihya Sinwar, this guy, while he was launching rockets, you look it up online, you see, I'm not lying to you, I never lied to you. While he was launching rockets into Israel, his own daughter was treated in Tel Aviv in an Israeli hospital for her sickness and her disease. His daughter, he was launching rockets on Tel Aviv while his own daughter was treated in a hospital in Tel Aviv. You know, I'm about to cry because it's so true. What our leaders said, Golda Meir was saying, the minute that they're going to love their children more than they hate our children, there'll be peace. There'll be peace. But enough with doom and gloom. Enough. We are victorious already. I see that in the spirit. We won the war. We want to rebuild Israel. We want to restore. We want to do things again like we used to do. We are COVID-free here in Israel. Everybody's vaccinated. And we are getting ready for the good times to restore our economy. You know that I'm working in the industry of tourism here in Israel. We didn't have tourists coming since March 2020. And I have a good friend here, Avi. Some of you know him. He was touring together with us with Kim in Israel. Come on closer, Avi. Hey. We are brothers. We hold on the screen together. And Avi sits in the National Committee of Incoming Tourism here in Israel. And I asked him to come over and just give you a short update about how can you book your tours to Israel? How can we restore the economy? Tell me, Avi, what's happening with the tourism industry?
Right now, we are attacked by Satan all over. And as I told you, Doobie, before, we will win.
Thank you.
Okay, we will win.
Yes.
And as I told Kim when I led him in Yad Vashem, the Holocaust Memorial Museum, he asked me about the soldiers that coming to visit. And I told him, you see, this is the victory of the spirit of the Jewish people over the devil, over Satan, over Hitler.
And over the Nazis.
And they keep trying. He keep trying to attack us, keep trying to destroy us.
So how can we win the war now with visiting
only
Israel?
By showing that we can face them. That means you can come over here, be part of this victory. You're supposed to support us You're supposed to be our soldiers. We are your soldiers, but you have to join us. That means in October or in September, October, I think is the best time.
So when you say soldiers, you literally say soldiers in the spirit, not to come and fight for us. Boots on the ground, walk on the spirit of Jesus, walk on the grounds of Jesus. Come here, stand on the soil of Israel, and that's the support. This is being a soldier of the spirit.
The support is to come, Doobie, and face this beautiful land and pray over here and show the world that we are not alone. God with us. And
so when they can start booking their tours?
Book the tours right now, because it's not planning from today to next week.
Yes.
Okay, booking the tour is from now to September, October, to make sure that you will have the perfect experience. You will have the perfect conditions. We are working on the best terms to make your tour smooth with the COVID-19 terms, and it's going to be perfect for you guys.
Avi, toda rabba for encouraging the people. Thank you so much. And as you hear Avi saying here, we are waiting for you. We're waiting for you here in Israel. Boots on the ground. Stand together with us from the soil of Israel. Show the world and the anti-Semites who wants to ban Israel. Show them that you are here with us, standing with Israel, in Israel. So together we will win. We won already the war. I know we won it. We have you. We won the war. So I would say good night right now. Shabbat Shalom, as we're going to sit down for the Shabbat dinner. Yeah. I'll be praying for you. I'll remember you, and I'll wait for you here in Israel. Stand, support our incredible ministry, the House of Destiny. Go online into the houseofdestiny.org. One word, houseofdestiny.org, and see where the banner is over there, where you can show your financial support. Click on the right banner over there, and just give to Israel. Give for Israel. You can choose what you want to give for. Choose Israel, because we want to restore and rebuild the treasures of Zion, and we want to help the people that their homes were destroyed, those who doesn't have bomb shelters, and we want to help the Israeli soldiers, give them back the things that they lost in that war. We want your help to stand together with us. So don't be a stranger. Join our partnership. Of course, if you're not a partner of the IsraelUpdate.org, just join our Israel partnership over there, and also go online, houseofdestiny.org, and sow your seed in this fertile soil of Israel. I love you a lot. Shabbat Shalom. Bye for now.
Shabbat Shalom.